Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 New York Life Foundation Excellence in Summer Learning Awards and Founders Award Kickoff Webinar. My name is Leslie Gabe-Swanston. I'm the Director of Program and Systems Quality at the National Summer Learning Association. Thank you for taking time to connect with us today and to learn more about the Excellence Award application process. A few guidelines before we get started. If you'd like to use the audio from your phone, please dial the number indicated on the webinar and enter the access code. Also, to keep things moving today, we're going to mute all participants in the webinar to reduce background noise. We'll take all questions via the Q&A box at the top of your screen. If you're having technical trouble, please type it into the chat box. If you have a question at any time about the presentation, please type it into the Q&A box, and we'll have time at the end of the presentation to answer all of your questions. A quick outline for our webinar today. We'll let you know a little bit more about the National Summer Learning Association, explain what the Excellence Awards are and the quality standards they're based on. We'll give you some specifics about the 2018 application, and then we'll spend some time hearing from some of our wonderful 2017 winners. Finally, we'll open up for Q&A, but feel free, again, to type your questions into the Q&A box as we are going along. This webinar will be recorded and will be shared and posted on our website. The National Summer Learning Association is the only national nonprofit exclusively focused on closing the achievement gap by increasing access to high-quality summer learning opportunities. NSLA's goal is to increase nationwide the number of high-quality summer learning programs designed to close the achievement gap. To achieve this goal, NSLA recognizes and disseminates what works, offers expertise and support for programs and communities, and advocates for summer learning as a solution for equity and excellence in education. NSLA's work is driven by the belief that all children and youth deserve high-quality summer learning experiences that will help them succeed in college, career, and life. The New York Life Foundation Excellence in Summer Learning Awards are a big piece of recognizing and disseminating what works in summer learning. The goals of both the Excellence Award and the Founders Award are to recognize outstanding summer programs or models that demonstrate excellence in accelerating academic achievement and promoting healthy development for young people between pre-kindergarten and 12th grade. The Excellence in Summer Learning Award has developed as a program with far-reaching implications for improving the quality and impact of the summer learning field as a whole. You can see how the awards help NSLA accomplish our strategic priorities as we use the Excellence Awards to draw national attention to exemplary summer learning models, while at the same time documenting and disseminating the best practices used in these programs. The summer learning programs can apply for Excellence Award if they are a traditional model that is site and enrollment based, but you can find full eligibility requirements in our application. NSLA's Founders Award was introduced 3 years ago to better document outstanding summer learning practices and models in the field. Programs for summer learning models and systems, either at the local, state, or national level, can apply to this award if they operate as a drop-in site or a plug-in program used by summer learning programs or simply summer-focused. Also eligible are wraparound programs that partner with traditional sites or enrollment-based summer programs to provide summer learning and enrichment opportunities. We also welcome digital and online platforms. The distinction between the two awards types might be a little confusing at first, but our goal is to capture some of the other ways programs and organizations are reaching young people and uncovering best practices for these non-traditional models. This will help us better understand what the summer program landscape really has to offer our young people and where there are gaps. There is no cost for applying for the award aside for your time. This is not a grant. Through the generous support of the New York Life Foundation, we are able to attach a monetary award to the Excellence and Founders Awards. You'll be judged on the quality of your past summer work, not future plans. All summer programs are encouraged to apply. However, if your program excels in any of these areas of focus, NSLA would particularly like to lift up your program as a leading example nationally. This does not impact grade eligibility, but we are specifically looking for exemplary programs in these categories. Even if you think your program is sort of fits the award guidelines, you should definitely apply if you fall into one of these categories. So a little bit about the award process itself. The awards are given annually based on an application process that elicits information on a program's purpose, culture, flow, history, mission, partnerships, and quality at the point of service. So be ready to provide real on-the-ground examples of programming from summer 2017. We've made some changes to the application process this year. If you've applied in the past, you'll know the application was quite extensive. So last year, we split the application into 2 parts in hopes that this will encourage more people to complete the application. This year, we moved the application to a new online platform that we hope will help make the process even easier. The round 1 application is due December 21st. Once the applications are submitted, they will be reviewed for eligibility. Then they are reviewed by NSLA staff in addition to partners in the field, previous winners, and other education and youth development experts. Applications are measured against the Summer Learning Program Quality Assessment, or SLPQA, developed in partnership by NSLA and the Weichert Center for Youth Program Quality, which I'll explain in a bit more detail on the next slide. Semifinalists will be selected to move on to round 2. During this round, semifinalists will complete a second part of the online application and a phone interview. The phone interviews will be conducted by a panel of NSLA staff and external experts in the spring. Finally, during round 3, NSLA staff conduct site visits to a select group of finalists to observe program activities during the summer. Winners will be announced for Summer Learning Day in July 2018. A bit more about how the SLPQA was developed and how this impacts the Excellence Award process. NSLA and the Weichert Center came together to create a tool that would better connect the summer process to the school year process and lean on Weichert's tool, the Youth Program Quality Assessment, or YPQA, and the robust indicators in NSLA's comprehensive assessment of summer programs to create the Summer Learning Program Quality Assessment, or SLPQA. Ultimately, our organizations did this for the same reason you serve young people in the summer. We want to improve the quality and youth experience in summer programs across the country. So what is the SLPQA? It's a measure designed to assess the quality of summer programs and identify staff training needs. It's a set of items that measure youth access to key developmental experiences. It's also a tool which produces scores that can be used for comparison and assessment of progress over time, and is both a standard for instruction and a measure of performance against that standard. The SLPQA is part of a 4-part annual quality improvement cycle that NSLA encourages and supports programs in implementing. We've developed the Summer Starts in September planning guide to help programs in the process of planning, delivering, and improving their summer learning programs. The guide is a comprehensive tool that organizations can utilize to do their own evaluation in collaboration with staff, partners, and other stakeholders. After completing a self-assessment, a program is able to gain a clear view of what is required to deliver high-quality programming. Additionally, the planning guide provides an outline to help discover which strategies you should implement first. The planning guide provides case studies called Profiles in Excellence that describe the best practices and trends in summer learning space. There are also dozens of templates, checklists, tools, and other resources to help successfully implement changes within a program. NSLA's experts in program and systems quality work with school districts, summer learning providers, and funders across the country to help shape smarter summers, brighter futures for young people. We offer in-depth guides and resources and can provide your next staff training, conduct a summer landscape assessment, or an evaluation of your program's quality, including facilitating reflection on the successes and challenges of summer, capacity building and professional development, on-site observation and staff interviews, and targeted training and setting of quality improvement goals in preparation for the upcoming summer. So I want to walk you through the Excellence Awards section of our website. The first section you will see is on the benefits of applying. There's so many benefits that you'll receive by participating in the Excellence Award process. Just by submitting an application for one of the Excellence in Summer Learning Awards, you will receive a feedback summary outlining strengths and areas for improvement identified by our program quality team here at NSLA. All finalists receive a detailed feedback report similar to having a full quality assessment and a phone call with members of the NSLA program quality team. A quality assessment for a single program site is valued up to $4,000. As an award winner, your program will receive visibility at National Summer Learning Day, the Summer Changes Everything National Conference, and NSLA's Summertime e-newsletter. You will receive invitations to participate in panel discussions, funder summits, or conference presentations with or on behalf of NSLA, possible future case studies or features in NSLA's presentations, publications, or reports, which are widely distributed throughout the education field and staged on our website, summerlearning.org. National exposure through NSLA's press release during the busy summer learning media season. Professional development opportunities with peer organizations through NSLA's new affinity group structure. And your program can win a monetary award of up to $10,000 generously provided by the New York Life Foundation. Programs have used the award in their grant-making process to convey to funders that they have been lifted up as a national leader in summer learning and out-of-school time for underserved youth. So when you're on their website, you'll click on the button on the left to complete the Excellence Award. The applications are available only through an online submission. As I said, we've made a few changes to the application process this year. When you click on that Apply Today button, it will take you to a new application portal hosted by a reviewer. Here you will create an account and begin filling out your application. In the past, folks have asked questions about their eligibility and which award they should apply for. When you start your application, you'll be asked two sets of questions. The first is to determine if you are eligible to apply for either of the awards. The second set will determine which of the two awards you will apply for. It'll take guesswork out and by assigning you to one of the two awards. Each organization can apply for only one award each year. If you are on the fence about applying, I would definitely encourage you to at least take a look at the application. With the move to this new platform, you'll be able to log in and out of your application and go back and edit it up to the deadline on December 21st, even if you hit the submit button and you receive a confirmation in your email. As long as you hit save, you can come back and pick up where you left off. The new platform will also give you the option to upload files and photos to accompany your application. We think using this new application platform should be pretty intuitive, but if you run into any technical issues, you can contact the folks at Reviewer at support@reviewer.com. And of course, I am available to answer any questions about the application itself. Moving further down the Excellence Award page on our website, you'll see the 2017 winners section with links to their programs. And here you can learn more about the other types of programs that have won our award over the past 12 years. So now I'd like to introduce the winners of our 2017 Excellence in Summer Learning Awards. We had one Excellence Award winner, Camp Good Sam from the Good Samaritan Community Services, and 3 Founders Award winners, Save the Children's Summer Boost Camp, Wilderness Inquiry's Canoemobile, and from the Summer Learning Collaborative, Summer Collab. These programs bust the myth that summer learning is boring or punitive by offering some of the most engaging, individualized, and hands-on learning opportunities available to young people today. Each program completed the rigorous application process you are all beginning now and have proven themselves as exemplary models of summer learning. Joining us today are Cara, Schrack, and Julie Storck. Cara is the National Director of School Age Programs at Save the Children, and Julie is the Associate Director for Wilderness Inquiry. They're going to tell us some more about their organizations and programs and what made them rise to the level of excellence. So I'm going to hand things over to Cara now.
Thanks, Leslie. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for taking the time to get onto this webinar today. We proudly are an Excellence Award winner this year, and I just wanted to share with everybody that we've applied for this award in past years, and that it's don't get discouraged if this isn't the year, because what we have found is through past application processes, we learned so much about how to grow our program and really maximize what we can offer for children. And so I think it's a really good process to go through so that you can get some really fantastic feedback from such a stellar organization such as the National Summer Learning Association. So I encourage a lot of you to go ahead and apply with your programs, because it is very much a situation where you can very much learn how to really grow your program and how to maximize it for the children involved. As Leslie mentioned, I am the National Director for School Age Programs for Save the Children. We offer a cadre of out-of-school time services for our programs. We focus in poor rural communities across the country. We're approximately 10 different states. With our year-round programs, and we focus in a smaller subset of that. In about 40 of our schools have our summer camp, and in about 19 hosted locations nationally. And we've, over the last year or two, have really tried to elevate the summer work, because we know how critical this time is for children, especially children living in poverty. So we're hoping to be able to grow our program in the near future. I'm just going to try to advance it. There we go. So the name of our summer program is SummerBoost Camp. It's actually very much for children in K through 6. We offer it for 6 weeks, 5 days per week, 6 hours per day. And that, I'm sure, for a lot of programs that are school-based can be a bit of a challenge operationally. And but we stick to our guns and really make sure that children have these opportunities for the full 6 weeks. As I mentioned, we were in 2017, we were in 8 states. We were in 19 specific locations with about a total of 40 schools, because we had some feeder schools, and we served a little over 1,000 children this year. We're still finalizing our results from 2017, but our results were pretty strong. In that at least we were able to mitigate the loss for over 60% of our children who came, and then help at least 72% of the children increase their math scores from a pre-test to a post-test. We do use, for the reading assessment, a lot of people ask us what we use. We do use STAR reading, but we also use that for our after school and in school programs as well. So it's been a pretty reliable assessment for us, but I know that there's great challenges out there in trying to evaluate the summer work. So we're always looking for ways to capitalize on the great work that we know we're doing on the ground. As Leslie told us in one conversation, we fit a lot in with our camp. We do have a program that is part of both our after-school program and our summer program. It's called the Developing Reader Literacy Block for our older children, and we have an Emerging Reader Literacy Block for our younger children. And these are activities that are very much research-based, evidence research-based, and the activities for the younger children are developmentally appropriate for them. And then the activities for children in 2 and up are really designed to help support reading growth, especially in the summer. So we're providing children with books that they can read on their own, that they want to read, with guided support. We're checking to make sure that they're understanding what they're reading, and we do things like read alouds with vocabulary activities and fluency building activities. So lots of great hands-on activities, and we rotate through these things about 30 minutes during the morning. We also have an hour of math, but we break that up. And we also do 30 minutes of vigorous physical activity because we know that there's an obesity issue with children over the summer, especially in our rural communities. And then we do team building, which is a huge part of our program. And we've always wanted to make sure that children feel like this is a fun and engaging program. And so the team building is a whole lot of fun that they do. Children come together for 30 minutes and they play all kinds of games and activities. We also make sure over the course of the 6 weeks that children participate in some nutrition education. They do some community service projects, and they do enrichment. And enrichment is really the last two, and the team building is really where we've been able to increase and really work on children being able to voice what they would like to do and make sure that they're driving a lot of these activities. So for example, early in the planning, maybe in about February or March, they might gather some children from different age groups and talk about what they think their camp theme is going to be for the year, because we want to make this as fun and engaging as possible. And we weave that theme throughout everything that's done. And then we ask them what they think they might like to do for community service projects or what kind of enrichment activities. And they've done everything, as you can see here, from archery. They've done pottery lessons, quilt making, second language learning. We've had schools out in places like Arizona where they might do some indigenous language instruction. And so it really allows the school and the children to put their own voice on what this program is. So we just kind of provide the structure. We provide the training and the literacy and the math, and very much the team building, and making sure that the children are transitioning smoothly from one activity to another, but that there's a whole culture around this program, and then they're able to put their approach and their spin on it with all the other activities. Here's how we kind of make it look. Like I said, it's very much an organized chaos. We rotate every 30 minutes, and when they're rotating, they're singing and they're doing dancing. So again, it's some pretty fun activities. Every Friday, we call them Fantastic Fridays. They're doing something different. In these rural communities, it can be very hard to take the children out because it could be a 2-hour bus ride to a major city. So sometimes we have to bring all the activities to the children. Career days or local cultural events, or any way that they can tie what they're doing as a big theme into that day, they're going to try to do it. Some places are able to get on the bus and go someplace, but if that's not the case, they'll kind of bring the outside world to the children as well. And then the last week of camp, we really encourage them to do some culminating activities from the whole summer. They might do some of their team building activities that they do every day. They might have some final competitions. They might do a field day. They might do an enrichment fair. We had a family science day where we had some of the STEM experiments that the children did set up, and the parents could go through, and the children were running some of the stations at one site. We allowed, some camp did a talent show. Somebody put on a play for their enrichment. So there's lots of things, and I think that's fabulous that each site is really putting their own lens on it. And again, this is a great way for the children to celebrate their voice. And I think that's it. I'm going to pass it off, but I just thought if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them at the end in the Q&A sessions.
Great, thanks, Cara. I'm going to hand things over to Julie now.
Great, thank you. Hello, I am Julie Storck from Wilderness Inquiry, and we are, so I'm going to just get the slide here, a nonprofit that's based in Minneapolis, but we do trips all over the world, and our youth program travels across the country to serve about 30,000 youth a year. Just trying to, there we go. Seems to be just a little delay here with the slides, sorry. All right, so just a quick overview about Wilderness Inquiry. We started 40 years ago, and our mission is actually to connect people of all different ages, backgrounds, and ability levels to each other and the outdoors through shared adventures in nature. And we are honored and thrilled to be a recipient of the National Summer Learning Association Founders Award for our Canoemobile program, which specifically works with underserved youth from coast to coast and provides place-based education learning opportunities, many of which happen in the summer, but it is a year-round program as well. I want to take just a quick second to talk about our couple of our other programs, because I think that our core values really are what has also been a big part of Canoemobile and its success. So in 2016, we served just over 36,000. We served 35,000 people on average annually, and about 25,000 of that is youth. And like I said, that's from really all over the world, and our 5 different programs. So our originating program, Share the Adventure, really focused on connecting people with and without disabilities to the outdoors. And the reason I bring that up is that remains something that's really core and integral to the work that we do with youth. Our Canoemobile program works with schools and highly encourages kids from all different backgrounds and ability levels to come out and participate with their peers. I'm going to skip through some of these here. So Canoemobile is our youth program that it started really with a partnership with Minneapolis Public Schools, one of the large districts here in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota, and really as an opportunity to complement what they were offering for their summer school program. And started with primarily day trips on the Mississippi River. We have these large Voyager canoes, we call them, and we essentially use them as a floating classroom. So you can have 9 or 10 youth in a canoe with an outdoor leader or a teacher that is kind of an instructor in the boat, and progressed from day experiences to co-developing curriculum with Minneapolis Public Schools, where students from junior high and high school are actually able to recover academic credits by coming out and learning in the outdoors. I do apologize, the slides just seem to have a significant delay here. And as I mentioned, so originating in the Twin Cities, we did a demonstration project in DC shortly afterwards to kind of show what the program was doing here in the Twin Cities. And from that, it started to expand from coast to coast. So we now take the program nationally from San Francisco to Chicago to New York City, and connect kids there. It's a very partnership-based program. So what it looks like in practice is there's oftentimes rotations where we might have anywhere between 50 and 200 kids that are out in a day, and some of them might start with paddling in a Voyager canoe, and as they're learning natural history and about the local area, they might move to a rotation with National Park Service where they're doing water quality testing and learning about the implications of pH levels and different macroinvertebrates. And might rotate from there with a hike with the DNR, for some academic components there. But it's very partnership based, and we do focus on reaching Canoemobile participants that typically wouldn't have this type of opportunity otherwise. So the majority of students in schools that we work with do receive financial aid for participating. I think one of the great benefits of Canoemobile is, in addition to the academic benefits in addressing summer learning loss, it also helps to develop social and emotional skills, build pathways to employment, inspire a sense of environmental stewardship as kids connect to their local public lands and waterways. I think what's really cool from seeing Canoemobile in action many times is you'll see in this photo, kids are laughing in the canoe, but typically for a lot of kids that we serve that maybe don't know how to swim, or this is the first time on the water or in a canoe, they are filled with fear. And I'm sometimes afraid to share this, but kids will literally be in tears, fearful before getting into a canoe, and by mid to late paddle, faces always look like the picture here, where kids are excited and overjoyed and really have built this sense of confidence that they can overcome challenges that they thought that they maybe couldn't. And we work with the University of Minnesota to evaluate our programs, and have seen that this oftentimes does carry over into the classroom, where kids apply those skills and confidence in learning when they're back in the classroom with their teacher as well. So this is just a little bit more about the evaluation that we do like I mentioned, in addition to the academics, also encouraging students to become more aware of their own strengths and build that confidence to apply when they're back in the classroom. So here in Minneapolis, we are very fortunate to have a deep partnership with the school district. And as I mentioned, students have the opportunity to not just build those connections between the classroom and what they're learning in the outdoors, but also earn academic credits that put them on track for graduation. I'm going to skip the video now just in terms of timing. But this is what we call the pyramid of engagement, which is kind of our logic model and progression opportunities for students. So at the bottom of the pyramid, you'll see that red bar is introduction, and that is what we oftentimes call Canoemobile. It's really that introductory experience, oftentimes a one day on the river working with partners at these different stations where you're learning science, math, history, language arts from the canoe and land-based stations. And then students have an opportunity to progress to more in-depth opportunities, oftentimes through their school or what we call outdoor clubs that kind of are an opt-in program. So engagement is typically a local overnight where youth are strengthening some of those skills and academic tie-ins that they have made in that one-day experience. And the immersion is longer experiences. So as I was kind of talking about our other programs that we've been doing for 40 years, we do a lot of wilderness trips, anywhere from 3 to 10 days. And that's something that our youth progress into as well. So they might start by paddling on the Mississippi River for a day, do a local overnight at a state park, and then join us in Yellowstone National Park for a week, where they're really engaging at a whole new level. And we do have some of our credit recovery programs do happen over longer periods of time like that. We do one at Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota and the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore in Wisconsin, where students are earning credit for coming out and doing really hands-on outdoor learning for an extended period of time. And then we do have kind of a Pathways to Employment program, what we call Outdoor Career Academy, where students have the opportunity to learn the employment skills that range everything from specific to outdoor employment, such as first aid and wilderness water safety, to employment skills that are applicable whatever type of job that they might get. Just another picture of our credit recovery. One thing that I found really helpful about working with National Summer Learning Association and applying for this award is that there's a lot of direct feedback, even for award winners, in terms of what is working really well in some areas to continue to focus on and improve. And I think that the fact that NSLA staff take the time to get to know you and your program and provide that feedback is enormously helpful. Some of the best practices that we kind of pulled out was our work with local partners, because we do travel to 50 cities across the country. Those local connections are really crucial to what makes it relevant to the individual communities that are there, so that we're, you know, when we're talking about the natural history of that area and the specific you know, water quality of that area, that it's all very relevant to the city that we're in. We also have different practices that we work with our full-time staff to connect to what's happening in the field. We have about 100 seasonal staff that are working with youth over the summer, and 15 full-time staff. And we have, every day we share mission moments here in the office that connect us back to what's going on the ground and how we can keep continuing to improve and highlight what's working well. Inclusion is something that has been a core value for the 40 years that we've been around and working with people of all different abilities, and that's something that I think really helps differentiate our program, as well as our Canoemobile travels the country. Of you know, sometimes there's some hesitancy of including individuals that maybe don't have experience in a boat, or might use a wheelchair or have some other type of adaptive need, but that's very much what we do and train around, and something that we can offer school districts, so that it's literally everybody paddling together. And I think that's something we found. I'm a former educator myself as well, and I've seen when I take students out onto wilderness inquiry trips with Canoemobile, that sometimes those kids that maybe the classroom setting isn't the most ideal setting, they really shine as a leader and demonstrate their skills and knowledge in a whole new way when they have a new environment, like learning in the outdoors. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the connection to academic standards and evaluating that, but also having these different pathways to employment, is something that we've kind of developed over time as we have students that started with us in 6th grade 10 years ago, and you know, a few years went by and they went on, you know, earned academic credits through an extended trip, and then we're asking the question of what's next? How do I get a job like this? How do I work in the outdoors? And that's something that over time, then we developed this Outdoor Career Academy to kind of create those intentional pathways for kids and help create that next step. So that is Canoemobile in a snapshot, and I think if the webinar goes out to everyone, I'd encourage you to watch the videos that were in the presentation at some other time. I think it does a much better job than I do with words in terms of actually seeing what the program looks like in action, and some of that emotion and learning that happens in the outdoors. So I will pass it back to Leslie. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's such an honor to be able to share with you today.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Cara, for sharing about your programs with us. So I'm going to open it up now for questions from the audience, either for myself or either of our winners. We have a couple of questions already in the Q&A box, so if you have a question, go ahead and type it in there. The first question was about our Summer Starts in September guide. Somebody wanted to know how you can get a copy and if there's a cost for it. There is a cost for it. It is $95. It's available. If you're interested in it and you want to learn more, you can download a sample copy on our website, and you can also purchase it in the resource section of our website, NSLA's website, summerlearning.org. Another question. Do we favor programs that impact a large number of participants? So this is coming from a small program, about 40 students. So no, we don't. We would love to be able to lift up some of our smaller programs. You don't have to have a large number of students to have a great impact. So I encourage you to not be discouraged by the large numbers that Cara and Julie are having. They have very large programs, but we do look and we can consider some of our smaller programs as well. How many programs applied last year for the award? We had over 100 programs apply for the award last year, and we had, as you saw, 4 winners. I had a question about emailing the PowerPoint presentation out after the meeting. Yes, we will be sharing out the slides after the slides and the recording of this webinar to anybody who registered. Again, if you have any questions, either for myself or Julie or Cara, go ahead and type those in your Q&A box. So there's a question about if there will be 4 winners again this year. It depends. We like to keep it around 4 or 5 winners each year, but it really depends on the number of applicants we have and the quality of programs. As one of the people who does the site visits, I can tell you, once it gets on the site visit round, it's really hard to choose, and so we'll do our best to kind of keep it that way, but we might have more or less winners, depending on who applies. So we have another question. If the program is targeted to serve rising high school junior, senior students as a college prep program, is that a good fit for the application? Absolutely. That is one of the groups that we're really interested in as those transition years. So definitely we are interested in having you apply. Another question, when in July will the award be announced? We are trying to announce, we've moved up the announcement of our winners last year to Summer Learning Day, and next year that will be July 12th. So the announcement of the winner will be on or around July 12th next year. So the question, how can we get access to application questions before we're in the application? Currently you cannot, but we can put a copy of, make sure that there's a copy of the questions on our website in the same area where you would click to apply. But as I said before, you can always go in, look at the questions, come back out, and no problem. Another question, do all winning programs have to have direct ties to state level curriculum standards, or is general enrichment okay? No, they do not have to have direct connection to state level curriculum standards. Really what we look for in our winners is a balance of both the academic and the enrichment. So we want to have winners that are both rigorous, but also recognizing it and incorporating those elements of fun during the summer. So another question, what are the factors that would make you consider a program that has received an award before versus a program that has not received an award? So I'm assuming you're asking about our particular award. So we have in previous years not accepted programs that have won an Excellence Award before, but this year, after much questions from our past winners, we've asked to be able to apply again. We've opened it up to previous winners from 2005 through 2008. So any of our past winners from 2005 to 2008 have been notified that they are eligible to apply again, but any of our winners from 2009 to 2017 are still ineligible, and as we go on, we'll open it up a year, another year as we go forward. There's a question here, how many applications move on to the second round? Generally, it is 16. We try to narrow it down to 16, and usually for our site visits around the third round, we usually have about 8. So it is a fairly, that first cut is fairly big. So wait and see if there's any other questions, and while we're waiting for you to type any other questions you might have in the Q&A box, I just wanted to ask Julie and Cara if you have any other recommendations, encouragement for anybody who's thinking about applying this year. And we'll start with Julie.
I guess I would just reiterate what I said previously, if like the fact that NSLA gives such individualized feedback. I think that it's a helpful process to apply, even if you don't receive the award, to get information about how you might continue to improve, or some things that really are best practices. I think is a really unique opportunity that they offer, and certainly, being an award winner has been nice in terms of the promotion and things that NSLA offers. So I would encourage people to apply, but I don't know if Cara, if you had more to add?
No, I absolutely agree. And like I said, we've really used this process to inform and drive program improvement. And we know the last year or so we've ended up with such a strong summer model, and that this award is really affirmation of that. But if all else fails, just go through the application process and get some really good feedback for what's happening at your summer program. I think it's well worth the time and investment to be able to drive your own process. So I encourage people to apply for it. It is really rolling up your sleeves and having to get in there for the application, but we've always felt it's been an extremely valuable use of our time.
Yeah, I think I've heard the same feedback from other past applicants. Just the process itself of thinking about your program in this way is they found very helpful. We have one more question. Are recipients traditionally national organizations, or have there been small one-off community organization winners as well? Yes, we have had a mix of both national organizations and smaller community-based organizations. So again, we're looking for, with this application and selecting our winners, we're looking for best practices in different circumstances. So if it's small, if it's national, if it's rural, if it's urban-based, we want to see the best that there is out there, and really how you are impacting young people's lives, whether that's 30 kids or it's 3,000 kids. So we really encourage you to apply, let's see what you have and what you're doing out there. So we have a question here. Does it impact eligibility if the program only takes place in the end of July and August and will not operate during the site visit round? So this is something that we're thinking about, because we, as I said, we moved up the announcement of our awards. So for those programs that make it to the site visit round and are only operating at the end of July and August, we will work with you to figure out something else, another way that we can do that site visit rather when you're not, even though you're not necessarily operating at that time. So I have a question about elaborating on the varied ways that participants measured outcomes and showed results, past and current winners. So we do, on the application, and actually the second part of the application asks for applicants to provide some of their outcome data, whether that is through standardized testing tests like Cara mentioned using STAR. If you've been working with an evaluator, you have results from that. If you do in-program assessments and surveys of your students or your parents, and we really look to see, one, the first that you're thinking on that level and thinking about the results and the outcomes for your program, and two, just kind of the impact that you've been able to make. So we encourage you to submit that data and make sure that you are thinking along those lines. Do we have resources and info at our office? Is it worth coming for a visit? I think it's worth coming for a visit, but no, we don't usually have people visit our office. All of our resources are available on our website, summerlearning.org. Any of our research, information on our technical assistance, I would encourage you, and I'll have it in a later slide, just information for our signing up for and following us on Twitter and Facebook, and signing them up for our e-newsletter so that you get announcements on new resources and things like that. But our office is lovely, but it's probably not worth the visit. All right, so it doesn't look like we have any other questions. And again, as I said, I am available if you have questions once you start, open the application and you start to fill that out. If you have questions about the actual application itself, I'm always available for that. Applications are going to be due by Thursday, December 21st. Here is our information to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, on YouTube, and as I said, on our website, you can sign up for our e-newsletter, Summertime. And here is my email address if you have any questions about the application. And again, if you have questions, technical support questions, you can reach out to reviewer directly at support@reviewer.com. And so I just want to thank you again for joining us today. I hope that you heard about some high quality indicators of summer learning program success that the Excellence Awards are based on, and the SLPQA, and learned from two of our Excellence Award winning programs about the process and best practices, and that you've learned a little bit more about what we're looking for in excellence in summer learning models and how to apply. I hope it was informative, and I can't wait to see your application soon. So don't hesitate again to contact me if you have any questions, and enjoy the rest of your day.